Welcome back. We've returned. Here we are again.
Gosh, here we are. Honestly, I'm exhausted already. And we
How
haven't
long's
even
it been?
started. Oh, it's been an awfully long time. I had to go on a business trip.
I had to go
on a business trip. And doing
I was
business,
conducting business from home.
You were conducting business
from
from
the
the
shop.
And I mean, I when I have to go and conduct my business abroad these days, it's 9 documents, including a laissez-passer from the Swiss embassy in the UK. A test to get on the plane, a test when you arrive in Switzerland to get back on the plane to come back, a test when you get back, and then a test to release after 5 days, and then a test after that.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, the fact that I'm here at all, fully tested. I mean, I've had so little COVID over the last couple of weeks.
So little COVID.
I mean, it's honestly, but here we are, and viewer, if you're actually there today, you will notice that we have a certain, what I understand the young people call the 70s vibe to...
yes, we have the... what would you describe these as? Safari jackets? Suede safari jackets?
Mine's a suede safari jacket, as I think is yours.
Sure. Is this also a safari?
Yes, I mean,
belted,
this is really in honour of Halston, who I was trying to explain to Max whom Halston was.
Yes.
I gave up.
Proving ignorant.
I gave up. But basically, he basically, I think he slept in a sort of safari jacket and roll neck sweater and dark glasses. And he chain smoked not cigars, unfortunately, but he chain smoked cigarettes. Now, I'm going to have to remove my dark glasses, much as the side is rather elegant, I'm sure, as you recognise, because I can't see a bloody thing.
These are Elvis Presley glasses, we say.
No. These are from Meyerowitz, but they're a kind of Halston tribute to Elvis Presley while on holiday in Studio 54 with
It's like the Yachtsman or something like that.
Yes. No.
Another
Cracksman. Anyway, let us, without delay, and this is a very important cigar today, because Max... The Hoyo de Depute.
I love it. It's the best. It's a 38. It's a trabuco size, as they say.
Trabuco.
That's the Vitola de Galera, and it's the 38 ring gauge, 110 millimeters in length.
110.
And these examples are from 2001, the year 2001.
They made a film about that year.
Yeah.
Space Odyssey.
And here we are, and
it didn't feature these cigars.
No, yes, it didn't.
I've already clipped too much of it.
It's a brilliant cigar. I might use this one.
Okay,
but
yeah,
it's a great cigar, and I've been smoking them quite a lot recently.
I like them because they're not.
They're also super light, but very, very sweet, very smooth, and moreish. You don't want to. You wish there was more. There we go.
That's a profound observation, Max. That's brilliant. I wish there were more. I wish there were just more of everything that's good and less of everything that's bad.
Well, you're great. What's going on? Oh, you've lost the flame.
I told you
it's out.
I told you to fill these.
I can't fill these things up if you don't have the right gas for them. What am I going to do, you know? Can't put Zippo fuel in them or, you know, regular butane.
Well, fire that thing up.
Go. Take, you know, go. Look at that. I don't have my trusty clipper on me. It's you know, it'll do. You might want a bit more, you know. Stay where you are. Don't follow the flame. Let me do it for you. There you go. That'll do well. The draw looks good.
The draw is fantastic.
We've used the last of...
the flint. No, it's not even the flint, it's the other thing, isn't it? It's the wheel.
Yeah, it's the wheel. We need a new wheel on it.
Will you take that away with you and take it into Edward to sort of conduct repairs?
Yeah, of course. Edward has all the right tools. He can. I'm
I'm
sure he can do it himself, actually, in the shop.
Of course, Edward can do anything himself, virtually. I mean, you know, he's one of the most sort of greatest polymaths of our age. It's nerve-wracking just watching you not like that cigar. Oh, I have to say I agree with you. And this is a rather, this is a rather
very fine.
Important cigar for me, because when I was your age, I just commenced my career. I'd had a very successful career in the wine trade already by your age. So successful that I had to leave and follow another métier. And I became a journalist at the Evening Standard newspaper, and I was editor of the London Life section. It took me a while to work out what that meant, but essentially my chief duties were going to eat lunch at Le Caprice 3 times a week.
Very good.
Minimum. Start with the black squid risotto, a black risotto with squid, and then have the fish cake.
A working class lunch, I see.
A working class lunch for a working man.
Yeah.
And then I would saunter over to Davidoff, and I would purchase. In those days, this was a different age view. Horses, carts,
The rag and bone man.
the telegraph.
Selling rag and bone. And
Oh, I
collecting
remember
it.
I covered the launch of the Titanic. It was happy days, happy days. I remember the Beatles, Elvis Presley or whatever. Anyway, there I was in the early 1990s, very early 1990s, pursuing a career in journalism. And I would go after fulfilling my duty at the Caprice and having lunch, minimum 3 days a week. The Caprice, of course, you remember from your childhood, an historic restaurant no longer there. I would go across the road to Edward at Davidoff and purchase a Hoyo de Depute.
Yes, brilliant.
And that was one of the
So
favorite...
they would have had these bands at that time.
No. They were unbanded. Always had cabinets.
Ah, very fine. That's great.
And you know why I selected it?
Why is that?
It would last just long enough for me to get out of the shop, lit, get into a cab with the cigar lit, go into the office with the cigar lit, and then allow it to extinguish itself while I resumed my work.
You smoke quite quickly though, don't you? Or maybe you didn't.
Well, it was traffic was sometimes quite heavy. I mean, those are the days. You know, I went into a bank once, I remember, and somebody sort of questioned me smoking a cigar. So I said, did they realise how many hours of work had gone into this? And I gave them a sort of long lecture on the cigar, by which time they'd sort of lost interest.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt your great storytelling. My drawer is a little tight. I've noticed I'm massaging the head of the cigar.
How did you come across the cigar? Tell me.
This cigar, initially because you said you used to smoke it. I think it was one of the first cigars I tried when I was at Davidoff, along with the Hoyo de Mer as well. Great cigar. And at that time, I think maybe I smoked it too quickly. I felt it was too spicy and burnt a little hot. Maybe I didn't pick a very good example. I wasn't as knowledgeable as I am now.
You are, if you don't
know Jowett, you won't know knowledge and all that.
Knowledge.
Yeah. And now I've gone back to it. I thought they were discontinued, but it turns out
they are.
The entirety of Cuba was out of stock, and now they've just rolled a bunch of them again. But Edwards also discovered these brilliant ones from 2001. Which are delicious, and there still are packs of 5 available, alongside the Du Roi as well, which
the
is the
Hoyo du
Corona.
Roi, or the Hoyo du Roy, as we sometimes refer to it. There was also the Hoyo du Prince, which was somewhat also just the Hoyo de Prance, as in the prancing horse. The Hoyo du Prance.
The Hoyo du Prance.
They seem to sort of go through a sort of Orléans type sort of legislative declensions, really, in that, didn't they? I mean, it was sort of almost like
I can only agree with you, Father.
Louis Philippe's France. Because they still had a king, obviously, but they would have had du député, du maire. They would have had mayors, deputies, gourmets, definitely. The Hoyo du Gourmet, great
That's
cigar.
a delicious cigar, and the Du Dauphin.
The Du Dauphin, you would have a Dauphin, obviously, because they would be the son of the king. The Hoyo du
I think all of these Hoyos are great. And I think
actually I remember you saying as a child that that monarchy you liked particularly in France was that of Louis Philippe after Charles X, but before Napoleon III.
I remember I was on my way to school on my push scooter with you. I mustn't have been any older than 5, maybe.
And we were discussing pre-Napoleon III France, weren't we?
Those were exciting times, actually.
Well, they certainly were in France.
There's no need to further my knowledge now. I almost know everything worth knowing
about that particular, the Orléans monarchy,
period of time.
Yes, and of
we
course
don't speak about it much anymore.
Not enough.
It bores me now.
It bores you. It bores the viewer too, I'm sure. But let us know about the cigar. Would Louis Philippe have enjoyed this cigar?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I feel like I know the man.
Through smoking this cigar.
Yeah. It's a delicious cigar, and I just love the old band as well. I love it so much. I do have an example. So this is the pack, but in the pack there originally...
Hang on a second.
Voss.
Does smoking kill?
It might do, yeah.
Gosh,
goodness me.
The things one learns these days. What else? Smoking damages my teeth and gums. Nobody tells me anything anymore, honestly.
Well, you're living in the past.
Best place to live.
This, yeah.
But how old is that packaging?
Close up camera, look. We've got the old Du Depute, and we've got the new one, which is already cut. But this is the band that they have nowadays.
Show me the band they have nowadays.
There you go, and that's the band.
Oh, it's massively inferior.
It really is.
I mean, this is a band of historic significance. This is the
great.
sort of band that Louis Philippe himself would have enjoyed.
I think he did.
Heraldic. It's got a crown on it, for God's sake. Look. It's got a bloody crown.
Good. Do you think they were too difficult, too time consuming to make, so they had to stop making? Because look at that.
It's a beautiful,
the perforations
beautiful
and
the crenellations
and the declivities.
The declivities and the matriculation.
Yeah, look at the crown. Absolutely beautiful. There we go.
I mean, that's a proper band, and I mean, this is a small cigar. So I mean, this shows the sort of the halcyon years, really, when you had a band on a democratic cigar. After a working class lunch, one would want a democratic cigar such as this, really. You know, a working man cigar.
Yeah.
A choice, maybe you fill the church warden or the meerschaum, or no, I'll have a Hoyo de Depute.
Yes.
Redolent of the sort of democratic process, you might say.
Yes, but this is this is most certainly a cigar for the working class, for the younger gentleman.
For the younger gentleman, for the working gentleman.
For the
gentleman who finds himself
the younger working
after a working lunch, after a business lunch, say a business lunch, a businessman, or working lunch, or a power
lunch,
breakfast, even. I mean, this is the perfect cigar for a power breakfast.
I think yes, and many people would say this should be the first cigar of the day. And I wouldn't disagree. Nor would I agree.
No, I think there is a cigar. The Sahakian is the Vitola de
Soane or
Sahakian. What is
the exquisite? The
Cohiba exquisite, which I think is a very nice 36 ring gauge.
36 possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
Might be around about that.
We know
might be even being slimmer.
No, it looks slimmer, but I think it might be 36. Anyway, who knows?
36.
I'm sure somebody knows, but we are so ill-informed.
I'm going to say it's 36.
But look at that ash. I remember you've been filming these on your Instagram.
I love them so much, along with the Dumers that we have from 2004.
That's that box I got you from Spain, right?
Yeah, those are. I wish those lasted longer because those are delicious. I mean, this is good, but
it is so creamy, smooth.
It's incredibly smooth, and you can puff on it quite heavily without it building up too much heat. You know, or
I know
too spicy,
it's a really beautifully made cigar, and also what I quite like is that I don't. Just reminds one why. I mean, age really does temper these things. I had the other day a very old Siglo 6, and gosh, it was delicious. It just reminds one why one smokes cigars. You know.
It did, yeah, and I often find with the age. It's more of a sensation than it is a flavour, you know.
Yeah.
There's always something. There's a feeling you can tell that something has a fair amount of age on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a quality to it that the flavours are there, but there's the sort of the harshness has been kind of adumbrated. And
good word.
And the
I think my first word actually.
I think it was your first word, or maybe it was that bicameral political system. I can't remember. But anyway, you've destroyed my train of thought completely, Max. Honestly,
sorry.
Such as my train of thought is, you've derailed it.
Very clever.
What about the
train and derail?
Yeah. Did I tell you about the time I was in the Kremlin?
No, you didn't.
And I looked at the Fabergé egg, and they had an entire train set inside.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a proper thing.
Yeah, that's a real...
I mean, that's the kind of thing that I would like to have, like a Fabergé egg with a gold train set in it. I mean, it was only the size of, as I suggested, an egg.
Do you remember Bleeding Gums Murphy in The Simpsons had an obsession with collecting Fabergé eggs? Give me another one.
Those are the days.
He wanted all the... he had like a proper addiction to them. The Simpsons these days is really not as good as it once was.
Nothing is as good as it once was, as is evidenced
by
these cigars.
Cigars from the past, and we're wearing clothing.
We're wearing clothing from the past.
My clothes are for everything here is probably from the 70s. Maybe the shoes are maybe the 60s or 80s, somewhere in between.
Well, my shoes were made by Eric Cook. You might like to look at our shoes. They're very good.
Yeah. Mine are called Vauxhall boots.
Because they're not as nice as my Chelsea boots, correct?
Yeah, that's the case.
And then Halston or Halston, however one wants to say, he was a milliner who made his name making pillbox hats for Jackie Onassis Kennedy or whatever she was called. And then he went and did some hats for the Truman Capote's Black and White Ball. And then he went and took a load of drugs, smoked a lot of cigarettes, and went to Studio 54 and became, deservedly famous.
Yeah.
as a fashion designer. He had this thing called what was it? Ultra suede. It wasn't just like regular suede.
What were the properties of ultra suede?
It was like just like ultra suede.
Super mega.
I mean, it was like not like real suede. It was like ultra suede.
Was it not even genuine suede?
No, it's ultra suede. It was genuine ultra suede.
Wow.
Anyway, I think that there's a television drama starring that Scotch actor, McGregor.
Look at that ash. It's great, isn't it?
That is an ash and a half.
So good. I should probably ash.
You should probably actually never smoke. You should probably just preserve it.
Look at that. But that's the thing, with all this ash on it, surely I could leave it for quite a while without it going out, because the ash would, preserve the heat.
I think it probably would. It would be like one of those charcoal men burning creation things where they stick it in the ground.
Yeah.
I'm talking absolute garbage now, so I think
charcoal
it's probably time for
burning things.
Should we have a break?
It's solid. Oh, it's come off.
Should we have a break?
I think so, yeah.
You could just demonstrate a bit of Ligero leaf there.
Very exciting. Look at that. It's the pyramid of ash.
The Pyramid of Ash!
There's not a great deal of Ligero.
It's almost like it's almost like a kind of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom revelation, isn't it? The Pyramid of Ash!
Yes, it is.
Anyway, viewer, I think it's been more than...
We shall return.
It's been an overpowering few minutes, so I think we'll all need a bit of a rest.
Good. And we're back.
God, we're back. We are back!
We found out we were wrong about the Sahakian. It's a 33.
33 5 inches. Well, I mean, God's sake, I'm wrong about most things, so I don't see why I should be wrong about that. Well, shouldn't be wrong about that.
Yeah, and my drawers opened up a lot after the tobacco heating up.
I mean, God, viewer, what you missed in the intermission. I mean, you missed just some serious stuff.
My mother, your wife, came home.
Yeah.
Said hello after having a tooth removed.
I mean,
after undergoing surgery.
Yes. Maybe she'd been smoking and therefore ruined her teeth and gums as that smoking woman.
Passive smoking.
No.
Passive smoking did that.
Honestly.
And yeah, my cigars remain, even though I find myself smoking it quite quickly, it still remained very smooth and light.
This for me is I just regret smoking these sort of these things that they release, sort of like it's like a kind of I don't know.
It's not the proper stuff.
No, they just put it on the well. It is the proper stuff.
It's just big. It's big.
It's big, and it's sort of just got a lot of
fancy
flavor
stuff.
And a lot of flavor, but not particular. I mean, I mean, basically, they put it out and they allow you to do half the work by sticking it in the cellar for 10 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything comes out far too young.
Yeah, it comes out. I mean, it literally arrives as if it were sort of... It's like a baby that can't walk or talk, and you've got to kind of rear it to the time it's 21 and able to sort of drive and go to the nightclubs and
But in this case, it usually
study at Oxford, like both of you studied at Oxford.
I went to Oxford.
You went to Oxford.
I mean, we don't,
I mean, didn't you attend some lectures or a lecture?
I think I attended a lecture at Brunel.
That's when you were reading engineering at Brunel.
Yeah, I did like a week's course, or maybe it was just a kind of hours course, intense course.
Was it lots of sums or something?
Yeah, it was a lot of mathematics, very easy.
Was they building a bridge or something? Did you fire up and pass me the lighter?
Yes, of course.
But didn't you attend any lectures in English when you went to Oxford? Were you just attending breakfast in college?
A breakfast, brunch on a Sunday, on a Saturday, or whatever it was, and I went to the science block of the Magdalen College, which was interesting.
Oh.
But it's a real world there, and you have the gates. The gates must remain shut because badgers make their way through during the night.
What, and do they eat the stags or something?
Deer or something, yes.
Badgers?
Yeah. There's a sign that says,
don't let the badgers in.
Don't let the badgers in.
You let the badgers in, woof!
That's another rendition. We've had like a walrus, we've had crazy horses, and now we've got...
Who let the badgers out?
What sounds do badgers make, anyway? Is it more like a kind of...
I think they oink oink, isn't it oink oink? Badgers! Well, viewers, maybe viewers, honestly, I'm getting ahead of myself here, viewer. Maybe you're an expert on the noise made by badgers. It could be a...
I think it's more of a...
It could be a moo.
I think it's more of a...
Or maybe if it's Oxford, they speak in sort of very, very kind of Oxford English.
Or maybe it's like
I say.
And then, the badgers are back.
Like a badger.
Someone let the badgers in. Someone didn't shut the gate.
Who let the badgers in? Woof, woof. Do you remember that record, Who Let the Dogs In, or Out, or in a roundabout?
Used to sing it at school.
Yes, in the assemblies.
In the early 2000s, I remember.
Yes, when these cigars were already made and aging at Davidoff.
Yeah, I smoked the original version of these.
I mean, we are. This is historic. I mean, this is what cigars are all about, really.
Yeah, you can get, and also, yes, these are available at Davidoff. Should I disclose
Only
the
available
price?
at Davidoff.
I'll just say that they're very reasonable. That's all I can say. Otherwise, you might get done for selling tobacco products online.
We can't say we are not selling tobacco products at all. We are
advertising prices.
We're not even really promoting the use of tobacco. We are merely. Did you know? I mean, little did I think, Max, when you were born and when Freddie was born, that we would go on to make the world's most viewed, and this is quite serious, most viewed. Is this a podcast or a broadcast or a television, social
program.
Media? Anyway, whatever it is, that we would make the most viewed, listened to, an influential podcast type thing with a visual element to it, filmed in an ancestral hovel involving a father called Nick and a son called Max. And I mean, this is
the most successful one.
I mean, it's the most successful one. I mean, we are really at the sharpest point at the cutting edge of popular culture.
Yes.
I mean, we probably go on to Clubhouse.
What is Clubhouse? Oh, is that what is Clubhouse?
It's like a podcast, but it doesn't sort of...
I've heard of that,
It's sort of like... anyway, whatever it is, we might be... we probably won't be going on it. What we might do, though, is sort of take the picture off and pretend we're on Clubhouse.
We could... Yeah. We should
get some Bitcoin now that it's gone down in price.
Someone's asked me whether I know anything about Bitcoin.
Fabien's already invested in Ethereum and Bitcoin.
We need to invest in Tanzanite. Apparently they've shut down a bunch of Tanzanite mines. So we've got to...
I think we've missed the boat a bit on that one.
We've got to, buy loads of Tanzanite from Hatton Gardens.
It's very pretty Tanzanite.
Blue, right?
Could be. I like spinels myself.
So we've got to get some of that. Get some jewels in a suede bag.
Yeah, and ultra suede if we're talking Halston bags. Anyway, we won't be going to Studio 54 tonight because it's been shut for about 35 years.
But I'm sure you'll be visiting White's as soon as it's open. Well, I'm glad.
I wonder if it's the gull's egg season or not.
It's always gull's egg season.
That would be the thing,
Do they not have battery gulls or something then?
Battery gulls? No, God, the whole point is that people dangle off cliffs and risk their life and limb to get one egg.
They don't need to. They just do what they've done with chickens and stick them in a cage.
No. That's not the point.
Milk them.
That's not the point. Anyway, listen, viewer. I mean, you are watching the most important internet thingy, filmy, poddy, made by a father and son of our ages.
Yeah. About
cigars today. I mean, it's a world record.
Yes, it is. I think it is actually, and the longest lasting television.
Longest lasting one as well.
Yeah.
And the shortest.
And also the most recent. The
earliest.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's a new conceptual world. We're entering the fifth dimension.
It's like Inception. We could make Inception.
It's like Inception,
the cigar
but better.
version.
It's like Temptation. What was it when you made Tenet? Well,
yes.
That was so confusing. We'd have to go back and forwards in time smoking cigars, because we have gone back to 2001 to smoke this cigar.
Nicolas Cage. We could be Nicolas Cage in
Face
film.
Off. And
when he looks 2 minutes into the future, and that could...
Except
it's the other way around.
And we're looking 20 years into the past.
Yeah, there we go.
It would be so much better
Nicolas
to look
Cage.
20 years in the past. What shall I do now 20 years ago?
I think someone said, I think it was Will Smith's daughter said, it was in a song, if I had a time machine, I'd go back to the 90s. And isn't that amazing that someone decided to go back to the 90s?
We have a time machine of exquisite Cuban Vuelta Abajo tobaccos. This is our time machine that has taken us back, not just to the 90s, it's taken us back to the 70s as well.
The 70s, yes. Or maybe that was just our clothing that's done that.
Yeah, maybe
the cigars helped, I'm sure.
The cigar's taken us half the way and the clothing's taken us the rest of the distance.
Yes. What do they use in the Star Trek? The hyperdrive or something? The cigars, the
It can hold, Captain, it can hold!
Did you used to watch that as an infant?
I did. It was very
I remember,
instructive. I learned most of my science from Star Trek.
Captain Scarlet and the
Blue Elementals?
No, the Captain Scarlet and what are they called? Remember the Decepticons? No, that's
The
the
Decepticons.
That's the Transformer thingies.
Anyway,
viewer, insert
God
comment. I don't know.
Almighty. I mean, we're still
Captain
fighting the virus
Scarlet.
one corona at a time, which I have to say I really didn't think I'd be doing or saying a year afterwards. And listen, I hope we've at least lightened your mood, viewer. If we haven't, well, that's something you've got to tune in again for this world record-breaking, world's favourite podcast thingy involving us.
Yeah, and there we are, and that's it. Probably, I don't think we have really much more to share.
We never have
with you,
anything to say anyway, so I'm
yeah,
surprised that we
well,
last this long. So thank you, viewer.
You're very kind for watching and tuning in, keeping us going, and good night, goodbye, good day. See you next week.
Well, or the week after.
Goodbye.